Hello, beautiful babies. Welcome to Sweet, Sweet September. What an interesting moment we have chosen to be alive in. The energy coming through for us this month is through the numerology and the tarot of the Hermit and the Tower, the Light Bearer and the Lighthouse. Both of these guardians and guides and temples are meant to help us further reveal our light, further reveal our truth. The single most important message for September is to pay attention, eyes wide open, be here now as fully as possible, be in this moment. The analogy that came through is that we are in the final month of gestation, like human gestation. And we have been in utero so far. And we've gotten really good at this environment. We know how it works. We're fully formed. We're kind of like fat and happy in some ways. And I know even as I say that, I can hear people responding like, I'm not fat and happy. It's been a freaking struggle, man. On some level, you are entering this channel that is going to be the movement from September into October. And in September, we're still kind of in utero. We're still kind of in this environment we know. And part of what's going to happen through the Hermit energy, through the Tower energy, Stevie's activated, is that we're going to push through into this new space, a space in which we have no mastery, and yet upon which the stars are shining a whole new course. It's really intriguing and exciting, and there is fear here. There is nervousness. How will I know? What will I do? And the messaging in September is do less, pay attention more and do less. If I told you that everything was going to change in the next month, 2 months, and I said to you, what would you really want to soak in? What would you really want to notice and pay attention and feel into in this moment? What is precious? What is there to celebrate in this moment? Soak it all in, because in a good way, things are changing. And in a good way, you are being more fully revealed to the universe. More fully revealed, your radiance is shining more brightly through this transformation that will be the work with the Hermit and the Tower in September. So that, I'm sorry, my dog is so activated by this. She's been quiet for hours. But as you reveal this like new level of brightness and radiance, there's a pulsing, a vibration, a frequency to it that is calling to something else out there. It could be a person, a place, a purpose, work, a project, a cause. It could be so many things, but there's something that wants to align and connect with you. And if you really feel that all the work that happens in September is to pull away anything that's keeping your light from shining more fully, because that's how you call in that other thing, this other beautiful golden thing. And the color of gold, the golden light, the golden liquid light, it's so much a part of this month. It's so much a part of this channeled reading. And I just hope that you can take it in. I hope it's a gift to you. I hope you feel more so than any trepidation about what this might mean. I hope you feel the excitement. My shamanic teachers told me, we're sailing under new stars. Can you feel that? It's beautiful. How lucky to be alive. How lucky to choose this moment to be here. So much of this podcast is a practice for myself. Like selfishly, I listen back to this and I hear things that I don't even know have come through. And this one in particular was such a gift to me. And I heard so much of my mother in it. I heard so much of her transmission, of her work, of her words and language and vibration coming through this. And it was, I can't tell you how it healed me and how it filled me with hope. I hope that on some level it can offer you the same. I hope that you can feel brave and excited about what awaits us on the other side of this, I know, profound transformation. Deep breath. I hope that there's something here that offers you strength, guidance, fullness, hope, and just know that I'm with you. Just know that the universe is with you. And just remember, this moment is unlike anything else. So pay attention this month, be in all of the moments, and trust the universe to do the work for you. You can relax for a little while. You can just watch. You can just witness. You can just be for a little while. Sending you so much love, filling my heart with hope as a way to sing that song out into your heart. And let me know what you think. I just cannot wait to hear how this lands and how this month serves all of us in the brightening, the holding, the expansion of our light. Yay, September. All right. Listen, let me know what you think. Bye. Hello, everyone. Happy September. September. I do love this month. I love the energy of fall's my favorite season, and back to school, and Virgo energy makes me feel like, I don't know, like purified, renewed, reborn. And I'm so excited to share with you the energy for this month coming through in the tarot. So cool, so fun to work with both the Hermit and the Tower. Those two cards together are fascinating, and they meld into this beautiful transmission of pay attention, but in the most beautiful way, It is me, Kirsten, and this is the It's Giving Mystical podcast, and I'm so happy to be here with you today. We're going to talk about the energy of September, and then there will be another mini episode after this that gives you a tarot scope for each of the signs. And I'm going to do what I did last month, which is pull a tarot card and a animal spirit card, because I kind of love the way those dance together to give us cool information for August, and I want to repeat that in September. So just to recap, August was such an important time for us regarding our sense of bodily awareness, of awareness around the desires, the longings that push up through our body, the sacred quality of our longings, the sacred quality of what our body moves us towards. I have this teacher, Cass Phelps, and he is brilliant, and you should look him up and hear about how he talks about everything, because I just love his transmission. But he said something recently that need has its own intelligence, and I've never heard it phrased in quite that way, but it makes so much sense, and I think it's a beautiful articulation of something that I've been tracking for a long time now. This idea that needs really do have their intelligence. Needs are really the intelligence of the incarnate form. They are the intelligence of the body as a sacred vessel, as a spiritual gift in and of its own right. That was what we worked with in August. I wonder what that was like for you, this idea of really re-understanding, this idea of understanding your body, your desires in a new way, and along with that, where those things kind of run amok, where they cause a little bit of obsessiveness or reactivity or narrowing of pleasure. I want to say that again. I love that definition of addiction. That is the narrowing of what brings you pleasure. Please write that down somewhere, because we can get, when we're in pleasure, whatever the activation point, whatever the scenario, whatever the situation where pleasure is available and generated, especially if we haven't felt it in a while, or especially if it's a new flavor of pleasure, we can get really sticky really fast. And that's cool. Like, it's cool to feel the vitality of that. It is not cool to narrow our focus so that we only seek pleasure in that place. And you can see how that tangles with addiction, and that tangles with obsession. And I imagine that on some way that came up for you in August, and just kind of noting that, dropping a pin in it. Hey, I noticed this about the ways I get kind of graspy around the idea of pleasure, around the idea of satisfaction. So I hope that you were able to feel the sacred quality of your body a little bit more fully, the sacred quality of your desires, the intelligence of your needs and longings a little more clearly in August. We have some beautiful energy with us in September. The energy that we're working with numerologically is the Hermit. The Hermit is always the card of September. It is always the card of Virgo season. And because we're in the 7 year, we are also working with the energy of the Tower. These two cards together are a mood. They are a mood. And they're an interesting mood where golden light is highlighted. So the Hermit is a very gray card if you aren't familiar with it. And we're talking about the original Rider-Waite deck here. And the Tower card is a very dark black card, black and gray, because the Tower is kind of gray too. And there's these flashes of light. In the Hermit card, it appears as the star and his lantern. And in the Tower, it appears as a bolt of lightning. And also the crown, also the yods of inspiration that come from the fire, that spark into our lives. The Ace of Wands energy, sparkling down from the shooting stars, from the lightning bolts, from the illuminated, enlightening moments of our life. Enlightening energies of the world. Kundalini. Let's kind of break down the basics of each of these cards, and then let's talk about what it means that they come together in September. I'm going to kind of repeat this a few times, but the energy, the mantra, the call in September for this month is to pay attention. And it's to pay attention with a sense of awe and with a sense of wonder. So it's not pay attention like, don't miss it. It's pay attention like, open your eyes, child. Open your eyes. Plant your feet on the ground. Feel your body and open your eyes to the awesomeness, the awe-inspiring nature of the world and of your life and of the moment that you stand in. There's something about golden light, and you can take that any way you want. So I offer that to you really cleanly. Like, what does golden light mean to you? Meditate on that, feel into that. But this kind of golden liquid light that is available to all of us. In my field, it connects to radiance and it connects to divine vitality, and it connects to preciousness. It connects to the alchemical sense of your golden nature, of turning the lead of your heart and your life into golden treasure. There's something about that shows up in both of these cards. And so this mantra of, I am going to pay attention, because this is going to be a month where our awareness is challenged. So let's start with the Hermit, number 9 in the major arcana. The Hermit energy is 9, so it is always about completion. And there's this incredible analogy that one of the writers I read and study with a lot speaks about the 9 months of gestation of a human baby and the number 9 as the Hermit. And it also ties back to, if you haven't listened to it, please go back and listen to the weekly podcast I did mid-August of the Hermit energy. The idea that came through in that was, you have come to the edge of what you know. We have come to the edge of what we know. And here we stand at this edge, and we know that beyond that boundary line is the unknown. We have no mastery there. We have no knowledge of that environment. I was speaking to my shamanic teacher, and he was saying, his analogy was like we've been in a play, and all of a sudden it went dark, and when the lights come back on, the whole set is reemerged. He also used the analogy of sailing. He's like, you find yourself in unknown seas, so unknown, in fact, that when you look up at the stars, you don't recognize them above you. And when he was saying that to me, talking about some challenge in my own life, I felt so activated. And what I realized was the part of me that is afraid or that is unsure is so much smaller than the part of me that is really wide awake and ready and excited and enlivened by this challenge of sailing new seas. The metaphor that I referred to about the 9-month gestation of a human baby is that at 8 months, this is so interesting. So 8 months, August, strength, the 8 card, the perfect materiality, the perfect union of spirit and material. Okay, the 8th month of gestation, the baby is content. They are fully grown. They have everything they need. In fact, they are completely without need or longing or pain or confusion. Everything exists in this bubble. Everything that they could possibly want. And they are protected and encased and nourished and full. And they've figured it out. Whatever the experience of being in utero is, they have walked the path. And then at 9 months, 10 months, technically, however you want to mark that on the 10th month, beginning of the 10th month, they are born. And when they're born, they come through into a brand new world. They are born into an unknown future in this place where they have no knowledge or no mastery. They literally cross the boundary into the unknown. And I don't know if you've ever heard this, it's one of my favorite facts about birth, about how miraculous birth is that a baby is breathing underwater. They're breathing in the fluid. Their breath, their oxygen intake comes from the amniotic fluid in utero. And when they're born, in a flash, in a second, in a moment of illumination, of enlightenment, the valves change and they take in air. And their oxygen now comes from the air. The other analogy that tracks with this is the dragonfly. Dragonfly, young little baby dragonfly, living underwater, breathing through the water, looking at the surface, and not even knowing that at one day it's going to pop through and enter a whole new vastness, a whole new universe, dudes, a whole new environment. This is what we're talking about. So feel that for a second. Let's just take that in. In some way, you and me and every other human listening to this, and those who have no idea that tarot even exists, and those who are far, far away and will never hear my words, are standing on this edge. We have completed mastery. We have come to this place of evolution, come to this place of knowing, I've got it. I figured it out, and I'm standing here and I have everything I need. And yet I'm going to step forward. There will be an expulsion that I actively initiate and engage in on some level into this new world, into the sky, if you're the dragonfly, into air, and this wild, wild world that we live in, this wild earth world that we live in as a human baby, into whatever the boundary line is that you are crossing. How brave. How freaking brave. And here's one of the things I love about 9 energy. Because again, I've said it before, 9 is completion in the tarot. We come to 9, we have come to fullness and completion. There's nowhere left to go. There's nothing left to be done here. And when 9 energy comes into your life as the Hermit, or as any 9 energy, any 9 cycle, as September, interesting, year after year, you have to be complete. And what that means is that the ways you can't be complete yourself, the ways that you can't cross the threshold, that you can't have the conversation, that you can't do the thing, that you can't complete the project, the world will complete it for you. 9 energy is always the gift of you are done now. You are done now. And that can be, scary. And it can also be, thank God. Thank God. And that's always the way I felt 9 energy. Like, thank God, someone help me figure this out. Someone help me bring this to completion. In this 9 month, in this Hermit month, we are talking about completion. We are talking about coming to the end of what we've known. We are talking about the willingness to become a beginner again. We are talking about the willingness to sail under new stars. We are talking about the willingness to leave the safety of the womb and enter a wild, wide world. Cool? Cool. Love 9 energy. Have in your heart that the Hermit symbolizes the empty cup. So the Hermit holds in its hand both the star of illumination, the light of enlightenment, and also the empty cup. And what it says is that I offer this emptiness, I cleanse myself, I purify myself, I let go of all that has come before, and I offer this empty cup to the universe to be filled. And it's almost like a prayer and a wish. Here I am, empty again. Here I am, born again. Here I am, anew. What will you fill me with? And this is where I want to call in the first mention of this golden light. Really thinking about the Hermit as the empty cup, the prayer to the universe of fill me with light, fill me with knowing. Let me experiment and feel into what it means to be here now. It brings up feelings and thoughts around this concept of radiance, the concept of your light, the concept of how you hold your light, the concept of how you enfold your light so that it's hidden away. In this moment, there is this kind of revealing of yourself to yourself and also to the universe. It's really beautiful. I want to layer on top of that the Tower energy, 16 in the major arcana. The Tower has a little bit of a reputation. I think that in the collective unconscious, there is absolutely an association between dramatic change, and one of the things that tarot card readers, who study this will bring up is what happened on 9/11. It's almost like the great dramatic reenactment of the energy of the Tower for something that felt so powerful, so stable, so strong to fall in a moment, for that level of destruction to really kind of wipe a world clean. And I really mean that, right? Like, you can think back about what happened with COVID, you think about what happened 9/11, and nothing was the same. I don't have an experience of D-Day, but do you remember if you hear your grandparents or older generations talk about it, and it was like this sense of, or Pearl Harbor, like nothing was ever the same in these moments. That is Tower energy. So I say that to you to show you how big it is, how out of your hands it is, But also, the most important thing about the tower, the most important thing to remember, and the way in which it's not a punishment or it's not a crisis as much as it is the emergence of something that has been imprisoned. So the tower is really this gray, black, dark place that is holding light, that is holding radiance, that is holding vitality. It is a joyous separation of the things that have held you back. Tower energy is very active. When I talk to clients about this, when they're in a tower year or tower energy, you need to understand that there's a live wire energy around. And my mother always said, and I always think of this, the first thing I think of when I see the tower card is slow down, slow down. The tower, and I just was using this analogy with a client the other day, and I don't know if I said it right, either the wattage or the ampage, something like that. Imagine you are a conduit, you are a channel of light, you are a wire of energy, right? Electric current. When that is increasing, the amount of, I think it's ampage, but I don't know, the amount of ampage that wants to run through that wire, and you haven't quite handled that amount of power before, there's just a little bit of a chaos, a little bit of a stretching that is required. And while you're learning to operate with that higher wattage, I'm just going to keep messing them up, who cares? Somebody can correct me, I'm sure somebody will. But this idea of like your capacity increasing, and it takes a minute for your physical form to kind of catch up with the amount of energy that is actually seeking to run through you. And I would argue that probably over the past few months, if we've been journeying on this together, whether you're conscious of it or not, you have actually been increasing your capacity, slowly but surely, in whatever way is necessary in your life. The energy of the tower ties back to what we're talking about for August, in that the challenge of the tower is to stop looking to God in the sky and realize that God is here. So stop looking to what is sacred, to these mysteries, these ideas of reaching salvation one day, reaching enlightenment one day, reaching some sense of out there-ness in the world. And instead come back to realizing everything sacred is happening right now. Everything sacred is happening right here. Your body, the God body, the tower that you live in, is just right. And sometimes our life has constructed around us a rigidity that doesn't serve us anymore. The key metaphor that I like to use for the tower, because people can feel frightened, right? Because when I say all the things I just said, it's like, whoa, 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 slow down. Like, I'm not ready for anything exciting. Because actually you are. If the tower's showing up, you are really ready for something exciting. But we'll save that for another conversation. The idea is that the tower is the structures that we have built with a sense of, now I will be safe. Now I will be accepted. Now I will be loved. The way to think about this is like you have all these bricks that your family, the world, society, yourself has told you. If you do these things, you can rest. If you do these things, you will be accepted. And so you build this wall of these bricks of acceptable behavior and acceptable achievements, and you follow the path that's been laid out for you. On another dimension, another plane, you've been growing. So you've been growing, and this is my favorite word to use, and this word always comes up in the tower, is, who told me this? I think it was a friend in hypnosis training. He used this word, and it was one of those words I heard it, and I was like, what's that word? I want to talk about that some more. He said rhythmic growth, which is the term used to describe how roots grow. So it's nonlinear, and it's kind of messy, and it doesn't really make any sense, and it's a reaching, yearning growth that has its own harmony, its own like nonlinear perfection. And in a tower moment, what falls are the things you have built, like the brick wall. What falls are the choices you made because it somehow seemed like the world wanted that from you, versus the quiet growth you've had and you've been making underground. This root system that, kind of unbeknownst to the world, unbeknownst to you, has been striving and reaching and yearning in the dark. And it's created something. It's created this foundation that no lightning can disturb, that no illumination can bother, that can hold vast amounts of energy. Something else that my shaman teacher said to me the other day, we were talking about carrots. He talks about carrots a lot. It's very funny, actually. He talks about carrots all the time and somehow always ties them back to like miraculous shamanic work. But he was saying that if you put a carrot or a parsnip or some kind of root vegetable in soil and it's bad soil and it can't like get what it needs, it can reach up to like, its root system won't necessarily do it, but it can call to like almost 20, I think he said it can call up to 20 feet away to suck the nutrients up towards the root system up into the carrot. Think about that. As you kind of are increasing your capacity, like I said before, you've kind of been doing that maybe in the dark, maybe even unconsciously. You've been changing the shape of your container to hold more fullness, to hold more vitality, to hold more light. In a tower moment, in a moment where the tower card is active with us, a few things. One, you really do want to slow down. You are like, it's like you've been put in a new body almost, or it's like when you watch a toddler and they're trying to master walking and they're walking, but any minute it could go sideways. It's kind of the way you are, and even though you don't realize it. So you want to drive more slowly. You want to be more cautious. You are probably more accident prone than you would normally be. So just slow down. And then you also need to understand that the tower is something that is out of our hands, for better or for worse. Similar to the way that 9 energy is shedding and ending things for us, the tower is the strike of light that comes into your life. Kundalini rising is depicted in the tower card as well, so it's not a bad thing. It can literally be meet cute. It can be like falling in love with someone for the first time. It can also be, the realization that a relationship is over. It can be the realization that your heart's not in your work anymore, or it can be the illumination of, I know exactly what I want to do now. So it's not, we take the value judgment out of it, we take the sense of good and bad away from it, and we understand that this is for us. The invitation from the tower is, what are you celebrating now? What are you celebrating now? What is joyous now? The tower card gets kind of conflated with dramatic change, but it has this essential joyfulness to it, this essential capital Y yes to life that is part of it. And that is what the tower is trying to reveal. The same way we talked about the devil binding energy, the tower is the great liberation of energy, the great liberation of energy. And when I was sitting with the card earlier, the energy that came through was good riddance, which to me felt kind of harsh. I was like, oh, ouch, man. But anything that's falling away for you in September, good riddance. Truly, really, 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 really. I hope that when it happens, you feel that right away. But I am holding the torch for you that if you don't feel that right away, you will. There's something about whatever falls away in September that is seriously hindering you, seriously hindering your ability, your capacity for joy, your capacity to feel the golden light of radiance in the universe, your capacity to feel alive while you are here. Coming together, the hermit and the tower, the light bearer and the lighthouse. That's what they have in common. They are both holding what is precious. They are both holding what is sacred, and they are both investigating what it means to emerge into a new world. The hermit does it a little bit more methodically. Like there's a sense of timing, sense of pacing, sense of gestation, sense of readiness to the hermit, sense of choice to the hermit. The tower, there's less of a sense of choice, but there is a sense of rightness, a sense of urgency, and a sense of liberation. Those two energies together are so powerful, and they really do feel like we're standing on the threshold of something pretty profound. A lot of energy workers, a lot of medicine workers, a lot of shamans are talking about this time being a great rebirthing, a great rediscovery, a great reemergence of a new way of being in the world. And September feels like it's a key moment in that. I really offer you this sense of golden light, and that sounds very abstract, but it's so here in this reading that I have to just keep offering it. There's something glimmering there. There's something shining for you and probably within you, and some kind of co-regulation that's happening. So if you imagine that the heat and the light of you, your magnetism, your vitality, your beautiful radiance, your alchemical gold that exists in your heart and your center, it has a vibrational resonance, right? It has a beat to it, a pulse to it, a vitality to it. And something out there in the world shares that energetic pulse, that vibration. So your heart, your golden light calls to a golden light that exists out in the world. And that might be in another person, it might be in a project and work and a purpose. But there's some like pulsing energy outside of you, and there's some pulsing energy inside of you. And there's some way in which the cloaking, the tower, the bricks, the walls have kept you from each other, kept you from meeting that golden light, merging with that golden light. In September, those things fall away. In September, those things fall away. That is so powerful and so profound and such a freaking gift. So it's going to show up differently for all of us, obvi, but there's something about finding a match, finding a talisman, finding a harmony with something outside of you, and that you haven't really been ready for that yet, and you haven't really been prepared for that up until now, and now you are. And now you are. And that's this idea of pay attention. It's not pay attention like something's going to go wrong or you're going to miss something, or, you know, I don't know, some kind of like, you can hear that as like a punishment, like, I didn't pay attention. It's not like that. It's pay attention like, open your eyes to this moment. Don't miss this moment. Don't miss this time, and don't miss this month. There's something about this month that's like precious, really precious. I keep seeing it. Every time I close my eyes, I see this kind of like dripping liquid gold. It has this like viscosity to it, and it is the sense of, if you imagine what I said before about the empty cup of the hermit, holding that up to the universe and saying, I am emptied out now, how shall I be filled again? Like, what shape shall I take next? It's almost that sense of casting something precious, like you fill in the mold with the gold, and then you have this precious thing, and that's just with us. And that precious thing is the yods of light that fall from the tower, and that precious thing is the star that exists in the hermit's lantern, and that precious thing is the medallion, and that precious thing is a new awareness, and that precious thing is a new sense of beginner, like beginning again, this new sense of beginning again. And again, I want to bring you back to what I said about sailing on this sea that you've never been on before, sailing under a sky of stars that you've never seen before. I imagine if you, like me, really feel into it, really drop into what that feels like in your body, there is more excitement, there's more anticipation, there's more joy, there's more celebration about what might be possible than there is fear about how much you don't know, and how much this is new, and how brave you have to be to come to the edge and to keep going. How brave you have to be to come to the edge and keep going. The quote that came through for me when I was sitting with these energies was, it's by Sarah Williams, and I'm sure you've heard it before, but though my soul may set in darkness, it will rise in perfect light. I have loved the stars too fondly to be fearful of the night. I have loved the stars too fondly to be fearful of the night. So that image is just with us. We are waking up, rising in the night to see the stars in a whole new way. We are entering a new world. And when you look up and you feel maybe afraid or unsure, remember the stars are with you. And I have loved the stars too long to be fearful of the night. I offer that to you wherever you are, whatever transmission, transition, transformation, transfiguration occurs for you in September. I want you to remember that this is for you, this is with you, and on the other side of this is more joy, is more vitality, is more radiance. And radiance is it. Like, radiance is the light. It's the light that motivates us, that attracts us, that magnetizes worlds to us. It is the thing that calls to you like-minded energy. And it's cliche to say, and it can sound so simplistic, but our only work is to stay with us, to cherish and to value and to love the light that we hold, to be with ourselves as sacred beings over and over and over again, to stay with ourselves, to love ourselves, and in that transmission, in that vibration, we change the world. It sounds so simple, and it is so hard. And it requires such humility, such love, such patience, such persistent attention to yourself. And I feel like you've done that. I feel like I've done that. I feel like we've done that. And all the energy I get is that there's deep rebirth happening here, deep transformation happening here. And with the hermit and the tower side by side, we are just so held in this. We are so held in this. We are so held in this. The last thing I'll say, one of the other cards that came up is this idea of bear energy. So we're paying attention in September, and we are also paying attention with like eyes wide open, baby, eyes wide open, heart wide open, hands wide open. Pay attention like, here I am, here I am, and here I am. Watch what unfolds, watch what emerges, watch what is becoming with really awestruck eyes. Okay, that's the paying attention. We also want to have a sense of what I said before about that kind of live wire energy. This is new. You are in a new form, whether you realize it or not, whether you see it or not, whether you're conscious of it or not. You're entering new terrain in a new form. Be patient with yourself, go slow, and embrace kind of the awkward pacing that might come with this month. And I talked about the Two of Pentacles for the weekly energy, and there's a sense of like the world moves at a certain pace and has been moving at a certain pace, and those echoes, those like fissures, those tracks are firmly set. And when we step into certain spaces, my example that I used in Women's Circle the other day was like the mall. I went to the mall with my kids for back to school shopping. We would do that like once a year, and it would always be so fun. We left the mall this time like shot through. We were all so drained of all of our like good energy. And I was thinking, you don't even realize how you co-regulate to your environment. You don't even realize that when you walk into a space, if you're not intentional and aware and paying attention, you just kind of match the song of that space. So in the same way, if you have a sense of I should be busy, I should be moving at a certain pace, things are the way they've always been, I'm going to keep running, and you don't have a sense of that not being the best for you, you don't take a second to drop in and say like, what do I really want to be paying attention to right now? What really calls to me right now? Where is my devotion and attention really truly needed right now? And slowing down the pacing of that, and at the same time having a sense of the malleability of time. You are always right on time. You are always right on time. And you want to be careful and thoughtful this month about trusting the awkward off pacing that might be part of this transformation. And I said it again you said it before with the Tower, you need to be thoughtful about how you're moving just generally with Tower energy. The Tower and the Hermit sitting on this threshold talking about this emerging sense of self, this emerging sense of your light being more revealed. There's just a vulnerability to that, and you want to honor that. Honor the newness, the awkwardness, the unpredictability of what that might require for you. And then with your free will, with your intentionality, with your words, honor what that might require for you time-wise, what actually might get done. And then remember how much power you have about how you fill your time and about how time works for you. Time comes from you. So you can go back and listen to that weekly episode if it's helpful. So I think that's it. It feels to me very beautiful. It feels to me very beautiful what's being called from us and towards us in the month of September. And that's it. It's quite simple, the sense of paying attention with your eyes wide open. And it's simple in that nothing is required of you. The Hermit and the Tower are energies that work by themselves. They're energies that are doing the work by themselves. You really don't have to force this. You don't have to push around this, and you don't have to like get the intention, the mantra, the manifestation tip right. This thing, whatever you are calling to your heart, whatever this medallion, this magic, this elixir that's being called into your life is, that's being presented to you is, it's coming, and it cannot be kept from each other. So relax, pay attention, enjoy it. Play with this new sensibility and have some curiosity and fun with it. Joy, celebration, liberation, expansiveness, adventure. These are the words, or these are the energies we're working with in September. These are the energies the world is trying to give us more of in September. Enjoy the fuck out of that. It's such a beautiful energy. I love you guys so much. I'm really curious because we're going to go in October into the Wheel of Fortune and the Star. Those two energies together are fucking, excuse my language, that's some beautiful energy. That is like really magic. And so this month, everything is going to fall away that keeps you from fully entering that realm of magic that is going to be October. Dudes, life is miraculous, and this month, pay attention to that. You are going to be surprised at how you are when September is over. What is different, what has shifted. And I'm talking realm of miracles, preparing you for even more miracles in October. It's cool. This is big change. You are ready for it. The world is ready for it, and it is for us. Nothing's wasted, and nothing is out of harmony, and nothing is not part of the grand unfolding. You included. You included. I'm going to try to live my own medicine, my own advice this month, and I will see you guys on the flip side. And just know that I'm with you. The stars are with you. The light is within you, and you cannot help but find your match, your destiny, your golden light. More of it, more of it, more of it. Okay, talk to you soon. Bye. It's giving everything is sacred. It's giving art. It's giving light you up and turn you on and set you free. It's giving curiosity. It's giving freedom. It's giving love. It's giving you are more magical and powerful than you can comprehend. It's giving, I don't know what's happening, but I am so here for it. It's giving you are pure potential. It's giving mystical.